السلام علیکم ناظرین، آپ دیکھ رہے ہیں پروگرام ایکسپرٹ ایڈوائس اور میں ہوں آپ کا ہوسٹ شکیل احمد۔ ناظرین، آج ہمارے ساتھ موجود ہیں یو ایس اے سے یونیورسٹی آف کینٹکی کے ریپرزنٹیٹیو مس رچل ولیمز۔ آج ان سے بات کریں گے اور جانیں گے کہ کرنٹ سچویشن ود رسپیکٹ ٹو کووڈ-19 یو ایس اے کے اندر کیا ہے، اور پھر ڈسکس کریں گے کہ جو اسٹوڈنٹس، جو طلباء، جو پاکستانی نوجوان یو ایس اے کے اندر اپنی اعلیٰ تعلیم کے لیے پلانز کر رہے ہیں یا جو آلریڈی اس یونیورسٹی کے اندر پاکستانی اسٹوڈنٹس پڑھ رہے ہیں، ان کی کیا ایکٹیویٹیز ہیں، اور یہاں سے جو انٹرسٹڈ ہیں فار دیئر ہائر ایجوکیشن تو کس طریقے سے وہ پلان کر سکتے ہیں۔ تو یہ ساری چیزیں about COVID-19 and higher education that we will be discussing in today's session. Rachel Williams, thank you very much for joining us from USA, and we are much obliged that you have given us a time to discuss about the different things that are happening there in USA at the moment. So we are much obliged and thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
That's great. That's great. Rachel, tell us to our audience about the situation that's going on there with respect to the COVID-19. How is the city, and what about the overall situation there in your country regarding Corona, please?
Sure. Well, I would say that the first thing I'd want to remind people of that the United States is so big that the situation with coronavirus is vastly different in different parts of the country. So, from in New York and California and Florida and everywhere in between. So we're located in Kentucky, which is in the southern part of the United States. And things are actually progressing really well in Kentucky with regards to the coronavirus situation. Our government in Kentucky enacted some very strict social distancing policies right at the beginning. And so we have seen a relatively low rate of coronavirus as compared to some other parts of the United States. And our rate of infection has slowed dramatically. We're doing a lot of testing in Kentucky, and we are actually starting to reopen our state, to reopen a lot of the businesses that were closed because of coronavirus. So in Kentucky, we are progressing really well, and we're very proud of the progress that we've been making.
This is really great news for us that the situation there in your state is just getting better and the positive with respect to COVID-19. That's much appreciating, and especially we can say the government or the organization's initiative to make it minimize. They are really very appreciating for Kentucky, I believe. Rachel, elaborate a bit about for our audience what were the different measures were taken to minimize, or you can say decrease this corona numbers in your state, because as you have mentioned the number is considerably decreasing in your state. So what were the different measures were taken by your government, and I'm sure the responsibilities by the citizens there?
Yeah, so there were some really swift measures taken by the government very quickly, much earlier than other parts of the United States acted. One of the things that they did was they closed, all schools were closed to go to distance learning. Many different stores were closed if they were not considered essential businesses. So grocery stores, pharmacies, things where people really needed the businesses, they stayed open, but other businesses that were not essential were closed to the public. And we instituted a lot of testing. So we've had a lot of testing capability in Kentucky. And University of Kentucky actually has a hospital and medical center. So the university has really played a key role for the government in helping contain and do testing for the coronavirus. In addition to the government level, at the university level, we've done a lot to really protect our students, because that has been our first priority. So in early March, all of our classes moved to online.
Okay, that's great. That's great, Rachel. As you're mentioning that university has taken part and university has stood alongside with the government to just minimize the number of corona cases there. and your university, and I'm sure the other universities were quite involved, their students were involved to help out the government and show the responsibility as good citizens for their nation. That's much appreciating and great. Moving ahead, I'll be specifically asking about the international student and students especially from Pakistan who are currently studying there at University of Kentucky. So what are the different initiatives, are the facilities that are being provided to Pakistani students who are studying there and staying in hostels at the moment?
Yeah, so we have the realization at our university that it's not realistic for all of our students to go home. We encourage students who could leave campus to leave campus, but we do know that especially for our international students, that might not always be the best thing to do. So our campus facilities have not closed. We still have residence halls that are open on campus for our international students, and new measures have been put in place to make those residence halls as safe as possible for the students. So the social distancing is still possible within the residence halls, and a cleaning schedule for them is stepped up. So residence halls are still open on campus. Dining halls are also still open on campus, so the students do have somewhere to go and eat. And again, we've changed a lot of procedures at our dining halls to make them safer in terms of social distancing, that students now go and they pick up boxed meals to take back to their dorms with them instead of eating all together.
That's great.
But all of the services.
And that's great. And Rachel, believe you me, once I'm talking to you, I can imagine that I'm talking to a person who lives on the plan of the earth, you can say, who lives at the place where there is no corona. As you're mentioning, university is open, the different halls are open, the activities are open, the decreased number is there. So that is really, we can say, a ray of hope for the rest of the world, that I mean, the number of cases is decreasing there. So that's great. That's a great news for us with respect to this current bad situation. Moving ahead, as you have mentioned, university is taking care of the students. So what about how much you're optimistic regarding in-person classes for coming September intake for international students, please?
Yeah, we are very optimistic, and we are full steam ahead with plans for how do we open our campus for in-person classes as safely as possible for all of our students. Our whole university is basically working nonstop on formulating those plans. So there is the expectation that we will be open this fall for in-person classes. Absolutely.
That's really great, and I must say, and we wish these classes should be resumed in person on campuses for coming September intake. That's good. After it, if we talk about your university, so what you have to say about your university, because a lot of different Pakistani students are interested to go for their higher education to study at your university, at University of Kentucky. So what about the different course option for the students alongside the fee structure, and even let us know about the eligibility criteria in general, please?
Sure, absolutely. So just to give you a little bit of introduction about what University of Kentucky is, we are a large public research institution, and we are rated an R1 institution, which is the highest rating for the level of research that goes on at our university. And we are the flagship university of the state of Kentucky. So we are the largest university in our state. This means that we have over 200 academic programs at the undergraduate and graduate level at University of Kentucky. So I can't list all of the programs you can study, it would take too long, but I can list some of our most popular and highly rated programs. We are a top 100 College of Engineering in the United States. So we have for undergraduate and graduate programs. Also, we have many programs in the top in our College of Business and our pre-healthcare professions. So we have a College of Pharmacy, Nursing, Medicine, and Dentistry, all on campus at University of Kentucky. But really, whatever a student is interested in majoring in, they could probably major at it at University of Kentucky because we have so many programs.
Oh, that's great. So we can say that's a one-stop solution for our students.
It absolutely is. For graduate students or undergraduate students, we have a lot of programs that are available to both of them. And I would say for our international students, some of our most popular programs are our engineering programs, computer science, and the different business majors like management, accounting, marketing. Those are all really popular with our international students.
Great. So, Rachel, then what is the eligibility criteria in general for undergraduate and postgraduate programs for the students?
So for undergraduates, we ask that you, of course, have graduated from a high school and that you have a transcript that you can share with us. Our application procedure is very simple at the undergraduate level. You can use the common application to apply to our university. We do not require SAT or ACT scores. We only require SAT and ACT if you want to be eligible for scholarships.
That's great.
Yes. And we do have amazing scholarships for international students. In terms of English proficiency tests, we know that right now getting to testing centers is hard. So in addition to accepting the TOEFL or the IELTS, we also accept the Duolingo and English proficiency test, which you can take online from your own home whenever you want to. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible for you to apply. On the graduate level, it's a little bit different because there are different requirements for different graduate programs that are more specific. But the most basic requirements would be that you have a bachelor's degree by the time you enter for graduate studies. And we do ask that all prospective graduate students take the GRE. I would encourage anyone who's interested in doing graduate studies at University of Kentucky to go to the website for the particular program that you're interested in, and they can give you the more specific guidelines that they ask you.
That's great. Rachel, I would definitely ask about, because for postgraduate programs, students can go to the website and they can search about. But here, one thing you mentioned, if somebody is applying to the undergraduate program, they need not to undergo themselves for SAT test, as that is not the mandatory part of the application. But if somebody wants to apply for a scholarship, so SAT is the mandatory part to apply for the scholarships. Am I right?
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, great. And what about, can student directly apply to your university, or they have to apply through the Common App?
No, they can apply directly. They can apply directly from our website. A lot of students choose to use the Common App if they're applying to a large number of universities.
Okay. So both options are available for the students.
So both of those options.
All right. And as you were discussing about SAT and the scholarships, so most importantly, a lot of different international students, they look for the scholarship, but I'm sure that's not an issue for the local students, as a lot of financial aid is being granted by the government and the university to the local. But what about the scholarship for international students? What are the different options for them, please?
Absolutely. So we have 3 main scholarship programs for our international students. Okay. One of them is what we call our Bluegrass Scholars. And this is simply based on your grades and your SAT score. So if you have a certain grade point average and a certain SAT score, as long as you check the box on the application that you want to be considered, you will get money from that one. We also have a diversity scholarship. And our third scholarship is our International Ambassador Program. So this is a program that I love talking about because I think it's very unique to the University of Kentucky. It is a scholarship where you can get different amounts up to half of all tuition. But in addition to being a scholarship program, when you are an international ambassador, you are a representative for the international ambassador for the international community at the University of Kentucky. So this is a position of responsibility. So in addition to being a scholarship, this is a position that will look good on your resume or your CV when you're applying to graduate schools or when you're applying for jobs. None of these scholarships are full tuition by themselves, but it is possible to get more than one scholarship. So we have students who get 2 of these different scholarships or who get 3 of these, and it is possible to add up to full tuition if you get more than one of these scholarships.
Oh, that's really great. It means students can avail more than one scholarship, and many of the students are already availing the same opportunity.
Yeah, we have most of our students who receive our International Ambassador Scholarship are also receiving scholarship money from the other programs as well. So it's very common to be getting some scholarship money from different sources on campus.
All right. And Rachel, you know, the situation is not encouraging for the movement, for organization, as we already know. So what about the hands-on experience opportunities for international students who are already there in US, or the student who wish to go for a US for coming September intake? So what are the work option, hands-on experience option from the market for them?
So I say there are two things that we like to stress for our undergraduates that give you that kind of work experience. One of them are research opportunities with professors, and one are internship opportunities. And both of those are really strong programs at University of Kentucky. We really emphasize working closely with your professors to do research with them in different capacities depending on your major and depending on what you are studying. So we have a lot of students who take advantage of the opportunity to do research with their professors. And then the other thing that we really encourage our students to do throughout their college career is to find internships. And we don't expect you to go out and find internships yourself. We have career services at our university, and their job is to help you find internship opportunities that are appropriate for you. We have students who have done internships over very short internships, just over winter break or over spring break even. We have students who do internships over the summer, and we even have students who do internships over the course of a whole semester. So there are a lot of different opportunities to do an internship or to do research and get work experience in a way that makes sense for you. Whether that's, we just had one of our international students over winter break. He was an internship with a finance firm on Wall Street. We've also had students do research fellowships over the summer. So we have a lot of different options to suit all of our students and to really work and find, well, what is the opportunity that's going to work the best for you, both in terms of the kind of opportunity and when it is offered. So we have dedicated career services who help you find those opportunities for yourself.
Okay, that's really great. That's great to know that there are different work experience opportunities for international students, even in the current hard situation as well. That's great. And I would definitely ask that, you know, a lot of different international students, they are in chaos at the moment, and they are confused that either is this a right time to apply for coming September, September intake, or the very next coming intake, because they think universities, if the universities has closed, so the admission process even has closed. So elaborate a bit about, is the admission process still continuously working properly, or is this a right time to apply for students for coming next intake, or should they wait for a couple of months then?
Sure. I would say that, well, for every student situation is unique. So I can just say from our perspective, admissions is working the way it always does. So you can still apply to the university. Our admissions processes are still working. And as I said, we are still expecting to open for in-person classes for the fall semester. That being said, we realize that especially for our international students, that this is an uncertain time, that they really are unsure of a lot of the elements that go into going to the United States to study. And because we realize that, we want to work with you to make this as easy as possible. And one of the things that we have started doing in the situation due to coronavirus is we are allowing students, if they feel it is necessary, to defer admissions and keep all of their scholarships. So basically, if you receive scholarships and you have applied and you don't feel as if you can come in September, that means you can start in January and keep all of your scholarships, or you can start the next September and keep all of your scholarships. So I would say a really general piece of advice to all of your students is that deferring your admissions is possible. it is always possible to talk to your university about, well, I was accepted and I have this scholarship, but I don't feel I can come in September.
Yeah, this is a key point for the students to understand at this moment, because as you have mentioned, this is the right time to apply without delaying, without waiting for coming time. This is a time to get scholarship maximum and even to secure their admission. I must say they must secure admission, but once they have secured and not easy to move to US in person for campus study, they definitely have a defer option as well. So the deferment is always there, but student must not waste time, should proceed ahead for the normal routine admission procedures as they were thinking earlier.
Absolutely, yeah. And if you have any questions, my biggest piece of advice is ask. Whenever you have questions, all of us, whatever university you're interested in, we want to communicate with you. We want to help you, and we are here to answer any questions that we can.
All right, we would be providing a help to the students who really want to ask any question, and we would be giving them a hotline where they can call us, and we will be routing those students' inquiries to you. They can directly talk to you even as well. So that's another help for the students that we can do in the current situation. And keeping the situation in mind, what do you think would USA student visa ratio factor, or you think that will be the normal as it was earlier?
I think this is the part that's hardest for me to talk about, because this is the part that's out of my control and out of all of our control at the university. What I can tell you about student visa is that embassies now have opening dates. So all of the US embassies that issue student visas have plans to reopen, and we do have international students in different locations who have gotten interview dates for their visas. So we don't have any specific information we can give you about that, unfortunately, but we do know that embassies are gearing up, that this is something that they are taking in mind, keeping in mind as well, especially with the timely issue of student visas and a start of a school year in August or September.
Okay, that's understood, because you are not the right or the concerned person with respect to this question. But moving ahead, if I talk what you have to say to our student, what will be your message for international students, especially who are watching us right away here in Pakistan? So what would be your message for those students, please?
Yeah, my message to all international students, to Pakistani students in particular, is don't. I think that it's easy right now to look at the situation and feel really worried about what is going to be the normal. Are these plans that I have been making for the past 4 years to study in the United States, are they still possible? And my message would be, yes, these are still possible. Don't give up hope, but really continue on with your plans and keep in touch with all of the different people who can help you out with these plans. There are people who are here to help. A lot of us, and we want to help, and we want to help you fulfill your dreams of studying in the United States.
All right, that's great. A last question from you, Rachel, that how a student can prepare well while going for embassy visa acceptance or the procedure. So what will be your tips to the students to win for the US student visa?
My biggest tip in terms of going for a visa interview is it's a very scary situation sometimes, and I think that the students are often intimidated, but talk. The more you talk and the more you can give the visa officer who's interviewing you a sense of your plans for your studies, the better it is. Keep talking, tell them everything that you think that they need to know, and even keep talking after that. Don't answer with just the bare minimum, but really go into as much detail as you can for the questions that they're asking you. That's a big tip.
Oh, that's great. Rachel Williams, thank you very much that you have given us a complete insight about the situation with respect to Corona at Kentucky, and alongside you have discussed in details about studying at your university, that is of course the University of Kentucky. So we are much obliged, and once again thank you that you have given us a complete insight about these two factors to our Pakistani students.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye bye and take care of yourself please. جی تو ناظرین آپ نے پروگرام دیکھا, امید ہے آپ کو پسند آیا ہوگا. اس کے ساتھ ساتھ خاص طور پہ میں تمام آڈینس سے یہ اپیل کروں گا کہ اپنے گھروں میں رہیں, سوشل ڈسٹینس مینٹین رکھیں, باہر جاتے ہوئے کسی ضروری کام سے ماسک کا استعمال ضرور کریں, اور اس مشکل وقت میں دوسروں کی مدد بھی کریں, اور اس کے ساتھ ساتھ اپنا اور اپنی فیملی کا بہت زیادہ خیال رکھیں. نیکسٹ پروگرام میں حاضر ہوں گے ایک نئے ایکسپرٹ ایڈوائس کے ساتھ. تب تک کے لیے اجازت دیجیے. اللہ حامی و ناصر.